Okay, folks, so when it comes to round 2 of the PPP, it looks like we got some good news. We still got a little bit of lingering bad news, but it does look like hope is on the way. So let's just jump into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan Moore. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and a creative entrepreneur, and I like to make videos like these for other creative entrepreneurs out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live. So if that sounds like something that you're into, consider checking out some of the other videos on my channel and even subscribing. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing, is there a possibility that we're going to see a round 2 for the PPP program? Also, what can we expect from the round 2 of PPP money that's supposed to be coming out? And also, what can we expect as far as forgiveness is concerned of the first go round of PPP funds? So if you guys are watching this video, you already know about the PPP program. The first one initially ended on August 8th. And right now, Congress is talking about a second round of PPP funding that will come in the new stimulus bill. So the fact that we're going to be seeing a second round of PPP funding is good news. Now, the bad news is that, well, Congress hasn't yet passed a stimulus package. They haven't come to an agreement yet. And so we're going to just have to hold tight and wait and see what happens, as they continue to talk and negotiate. So as I mentioned earlier, you already know that the first round of PPP funding has ended. That ended on August 8th. If you haven't yet applied for forgiveness, you can do so. For the self-employed and the sole proprietors, basically you receive 100% forgiveness depending on what you filed on your taxes, being that the formula that was used to determine your loan amount is the same formula that's going to be used to determine your forgiveness amount. So I already did a video about this previously on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you missed that, so you can go check it out and see how that all works out so that you can achieve 100% forgiveness. But now let's focus on the second round of PPP funding. From what I'm hearing and seeing, right now, Congress is negotiating another stimulus package. They have included the PPP funding for a second round. They even included it in the most recent skinny bill that didn't make it. Now, this is good news because even with the skinny bill, which is a slimmed down version of what either side wants, they still have funding in there for PPP for a second round. Now, from what I'm hearing, there are going to be different requirements and criteria that you're going to have to meet in order to receive a second round of PPP funding. Initially, what they had proposed is that your gross revenue had to decline by 50%. All right. But now with the latest update, they're saying that the gross revenue only has to decline by 35%. So that's good news because then that means that more people will be able to qualify. Now, from what I'm hearing, the way that you're going to calculate this is you're going to either look at your first quarter of 2019 and compare it with the first quarter of 2020, or you probably have the option to look at your second quarter of 2019 and compare that with the second quarter of 2020. As long as you have your paperwork in order and you can demonstrate that your gross revenue has taken a 35% reduction, then you should be eligible to receive a second round of PPP funding. As far as the rules that they're going to attach to how you spend the funds, I'm not sure. I haven't heard much about that yet. But if it's the same as it was in the first round, then this is good news for the self-employed and the sole proprietors because essentially, depending on how you filed your taxes and the way your numbers shook out, that first round of PPP funding essentially became a big free grant. So this is potentially good news if you're still trying to stay afloat, if you feel that you're going to need a second round of funding to, keep the doors open to continue doing business. It sounds like good news is on the way. Right now, the only thing that we're waiting for is Congress to come to a decision together and then pass this stimulus bill. The next thing that I'll be discussing is the whole concept of the blanket forgiveness. Now, I've been hearing this float around. I've even heard it proposed by different, maybe Congress members or economists or bankers. And they were saying that essentially all loans that were written for under $150,000 should be given a blanket forgiveness, being that the SBA and the banks don't have the manpower, or it would just take millions and millions of hours to, go through all these documents and, check and forgive them and give them the okay, or don't give them the okay, whatever the case may be. In regards to that, there was a Senate hearing a couple of months ago where Mnuchin, the, Treasury Secretary, was saying that the whole idea of giving a blanket forgiveness for loans under 150K is probably not likely, being that they believe it will lead to more fraud. So here's the thing, you can get those loans forgiven as long as you follow the program's rules the right way, okay? And then also too, they probably will kind of give some blanket forgiveness, whether it be for, from what I'm hearing, there's speculation of maybe for the self-employed, right? The max that you could get as a self-employed individual or contractor, gig worker is about $20,800, right? Which would be, based off of the formula, not to exceed, gross revenues of 100K in a year. So that might be a possibility where they kind of give a blanket forgiveness for that. But even the statement blanket forgiveness, I wouldn't expect to just be like, oh, hey, I'm good, I ain't got nothing to do. There's still going to be paperwork involved. You're still going to have to probably sign off on something. You're probably going to have to submit some type of paperwork just certifying that, hey, I used the funds appropriately or the way that they were supposed to be used. The good thing is that for the self-employed, being that they made the, the Flexibility Act, or they gave the 24-week extension, right now you don't have to worry so much about the whole, qualified expenses and the payroll. Also, too, with self-employed gig workers and independent contractors, they don't have that payroll per se that they're running. And so instead, it's called owner's compensation replacement, which was the initial formula that they gave, which forgave about 75% of the loan. But now with the 24-week extension, you can essentially have the whole loan 100% forgiven, once again, depending on, the numbers that were filed and your tax return. So as far as blanket forgiveness is concerned, there will be probably some type of blanket forgiveness, but it won't just be like, okay, you guys are all good to go, ride off into the sunset. You're probably going to have to do some type of certifying, even if it is self-certifying, the same way that you did when you received the loan funds. Now, the next question is, when can we expect to maybe see some of the second round of PPP funding? If I had to guess, it's probably going to be near the end of September, right? This is when Congress is going to have to be kind of like in crunch time to pass some type of bill. The elections are around the corner. Everybody's going to want to look good on one side or the other. So regardless of what other elements that stimulus package has, we should all, feel pretty good that there will be a second round of PPP funding included in that stimulus package. As far as some of the other things that people might be looking forward to in the stimulus package and concerns of enhanced unemployment and or stimulus checks, from what I'm hearing, stimulus checks weren't included. Now, they were supposed to be something that was agreed upon on both sides, but from what I'm hearing in the last proposal with the skinny bill, they weren't included. So, that's something. But the enhanced unemployment will be included. I think it's going to be a bit of a haircut. It won't be, the $600 boost. It might be, around $300 or $400. Let's just say anywhere between $200 and $400. So probably right in the middle, around $300. And also, too, guys, keep in mind that the EIDL program is still open and available. That is going to be running until the end of the year in December. Now, they don't have any more grant funds for that, which a lot of people are considerably, upset about, which is understandable because, a lot of people apply to that program just for the grant portion itself. But from, the grant funding had ran out, months ago or weeks ago or whatever at this point. There's no more grants, but the loan program is still open if you are still interested in receiving that loan. So that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully you found this video useful and helpful. And if so, please drop me a like. Give me a comment. Let me know how's things been going on for you this year. It's been a crazy year with the lockdown, with the cough, and just so much uncertainty out there. And then all these government stimulus programs. But the question is business, really picking back up? And, because that's what we're all in it for. We want to get back to business. We want to get back to normal. The stimulus programs are great, but, getting them revenues in would be even better. So That's it for me today, guys. To all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.